Hello, hello, and welcome to another broadcast.gg Scrim Night. I am joined tonight by Vowels, and we're going to be showing you a special scrim in the core Brawl rule set between Sheridan and Sheridan College Esports, and Desperados. This is a little bit different rule set. We'll be going over those details very shortly here, but let us, of course, talk about the teams first. But before that, how are you doing tonight, Vowels?
I am as ready as I'll ever be. It is 3 a.m. here, so I'm a little bit pumped on energy drinks, but I'm excited for the match we've got going ahead.
Yeah, this cast would not be possible without the contributions made by our particular energy drinks. What kind of energy drink are you drinking tonight, Vowels?
I am drinking my favorite brand. It's unfortunately not available in the US. It's called Lucozade, so think Gatorade, but nicer. It's pretty good stuff.
Nice. So we are going to talk a little bit about these teams before we get this started. We are going to talk first about Sheridan College. Vowels, what do we know about Sheridan? What are we going to be seeing from them tonight?
Sheridan has been together about a month and apparently likes to run a death ball / modified dive composition. They have highlighted dive as something they'd like to improve on during the course of this scrim, so we'll have to be paying attention to the tank line they've got of Yesh and Express to see how they can fare. Filling out the roster, they've got Volkia and Synchronized in the support line, and Oplan and Naked Bananas filling the DPS roles. Looks like a pretty good roster overall.
All right. And of course, I had the team swap there. That's my bad. Filling multiple hats tonight. So there's our Sheridan up there on the screen. And of course, we can't forget to talk about the Desperados either. So let's talk a little bit more about them. Of course, we have Pray for GG's kind of being the leader of the Desperados, and he's going to be their main support. He's playing Zenyatta. He's joined by Galaxy, who is another support maining Lucio. So really interesting support duo there. They are, of course, going to like the dive comp as well, and we're going to see appropriate heroes for them, Tracer and Genji being the leading DPS characters for them. And, of course, you can't do the dive without the Winston and Diva, Garlic Bread, and Pills bringing up that tank line. They are locked and loaded, ready for this dive comp, and they have actually been kind of practicing for quite a long time here. Various members have joined 2 months ago, 6 months ago. The total kind of history, the core of the team, Prey, Wolfer, and Galaxy have been together for 15 months. So they are definitely going to be a strong team. Very well-practiced team as well. If you want to learn more about them, you can check out their website. It's desperadosow.com. And we are going to be jumping into our first match very shortly here. This is going to be on Eichenwald. This is going to be part of the core Brawl rule set, so we can talk a little bit more about that. This is a specific map layout that we're picking here. It's best 2 out of 3. The Brigida is going to be disabled. That's another important part of the rule set right now, so we won't be seeing any Brigida in this. And this is for I believe it's a particular league for core Brawl, and we're going to be seeing some of that coming up very soon here. But let's jump right into...
We have actually had a pause call. It appears Desperados aren't ready and are asking us to go back to lobby, so not quite hitting the action yet. Yeah. While we've got a moment, it's probably a good idea to just give a little more detail about the rule set we're going to be using tonight. The core Brawl rule set follows a 4-map format like the Overwatch League, starting off with a hybrid map. Tonight that will be Eichenwald, then moving on to Assault, which tonight will be Volskaya, as we've just seen. A control map, tonight we'll be going to Ilios, and then finally an escort map on Junkertown. If the teams are still level 2-2 after the 4th map, we'll head to another tiebreaker control map on Oasis. We may only be going to 4 maps tonight, maybe going to full 5, but it'll be interesting to see how this works out. Yeah. On the first point of Icon in particular, we like to see a lot of pharmacy run, both on offense and defense. You can rain down hell on quite an open point and play around the clock tower in the middle to give you a bit of cover. Neither of these teams have highlighted Fava as a particular strength. However, we have had Oplan on the side of Sheridan has apparently been highlighted as a very good McCree player, so we'll have to see if Sheridan turns to that to shut down any kind of pharmacy threat.
Attackers incoming in 30 seconds.
I think it's putting a lot of pressure on Oplan and maybe Volker as well to shut down this pharmacy. Running this Orisa Roadhog tank lane, you're not able to put as much pressure in the skies as you could with a dive duo. So it's definitely going to be on Oplan using the Discord ults from Volker to shut down Ultra's pharmacy. We have had Wolf swap off onto the Tracer, so we're running a pretty standard pharmacy dive on this offense here as Ultra goes over some early shots for the Farah. Yeah. I was very impressed with Optimus Recruiter actually, although ultimately it didn't really work out. He was able to put a lot more pressure with some really good accuracy coming out onto Ultra. However, there wasn't quite the same follow-up from this team. Ultra could still go wherever he wanted as soon as Oplan was shut down, and that is going to be the first point going into Desperados with a 5-minute time back. That's pretty big for Reichenwald. Yeah, it's very interesting, this defense that opted to go for on the low ground. You've pretty much just given up any kind of positioning advantage to the dive tanks. We saw them drop down and they've just completely wiped Sheridan again. It's going to be an easy push through the second phase going through for Desperados.
Justice reigns from above.
Pass into the iris.
The payload has reached the checkpoint.
Bombs away.
Yeah, absolutely dominant defense from Desperados, and they're showing no shyness shopping. They're moving way ahead of the payload here, just completely shutting down the defense. We're seeing a couple swaps up, making Bananas going over to Roadhog, which he has been highlighted on. Volkio taking up the Lucio to try and provide a bit more AoE healing. But 4.5 minutes now in this final corner. Sheridan needs to get on the point now.
Its destination.
Justice reigns from above. Get into position.
Yeah. Sheridan really gave up a lot there to try and make that work. They don't really have any ultimates, maybe coming up on the sound barrier during this fight, but you've got the Transcendence coming up on the Pulse Bomb, the Self-Destruct, and the Riptire from Desperados. Look for Ultra to try and get 2 picks with his Riptire, or Hills to just jump straight in, take out Synchronize. Self-Destruct goes in the back now.
Complete. Score 0-3. Switching sides.
Yeah. Sheridan, unfortunately, weren't really properly able to get set up after losing the first fight on second point. As soon as they tried to come out for a last-minute barrage a last-minute defense in front of the doors, they were caught up by the barrage and had to reset. By the time they were able to put up any other kind of defense, it was right at the last second before third point. They had to throw everything they could into that, and it left them with a huge ult deficit, and Desperados just came in, cleaned up. Sheridan, they maybe need a little bit more cohesiveness, but I think ultimately it was that play to go for the low ground defense on second point that cost them the rest of the map. They were never really able to recover.
Attackers incoming in 30 seconds.
Yeah, Ultra picking up this pharmacy again is definitely something to watch, and there's not really any kind of threat against it coming out from the offense. Maybe Yesh's Diva can get up and contest that, but you don't have a Zenyatta to throw out any discords. You don't have a hit scan in your Macrian soldier to put any long-range damage. Ultra's going to have free reign here. It's not going to be going very well for this offense, I don't think. I did like the idea from Sheridan there. Focus on the ground war, kind of ignore the tower, but they didn't actually get the picks in to win that ground war. They've gone in for another offense, and while they're getting a couple picks, it's pretty much a lost fight. They've lost 3, the tactical advisors coming in 2. Once again, they need to reset. There is there's another pick on the top line. Sheridan needs to stop conceding these picks right at the start of fights. We saw it Express last fight, died just before the coalescence came out. Yeah, they did bait out the whole hog with the engage they tried to go for, but they still had to eventually reset. They've just lost top line again. Express have been taken all low, and they've got to use the sound barrier to engage.
Into the iris.
Justice reigns from above.
It was a huge ultimate investment going up from the defense, though. We saw the Transcendence, the Barrage, the Tactical Visor, all invested by the defense. Maybe they're going to get a whole hog here, but there's not much else to work with. The offense, you've got the Coalescence, you've got the Pulse Bomb, you've got a few more tools, but you can't afford Express to keep dying like that.
Fortifying defense.
30 seconds remaining.
Sheridan have highlighted that their dive is something they want to work on. Here's a pro tip. When your Winston goes in, your diva needs to go in with them. Express is being caught out on their own too many times. Again! Up and synchronized go down right at the start!
Justice reigns from above.
Victory. Play of the game.
You could say the fault there was with the composition, maybe. They didn't bring out a hit scan to shut down Ultra. They weren't running a Zenyatta, and we all know how powerful Discord orbs are. They weren't running a Mercy to try and fix some of the early picks they were getting in. But ultimately, the issue with Sheridan right now is cohesion. Their tanks aren't working together, and Express is being picked off too early. Their healers are looking a little bit disjointed. Their DPS are going off doing their thing. Desperados is working so much more as a unit, and that's really showing so far.
Traveling to Volskaya Industries.
We are going to be moving into our second map now, which will be on the assault map, Volskaya Industries. We
Система безопасности нарушена. Запущен протокол блокировки.
I don't. I'm not really sure what to expect. Obviously, after the last match, the impetus is that we're going to see another dominant performance from Desperados. Sheridan did highlight that they like to run Death Ball more often than Dive, so maybe we're going to see something like that on because assault maps can be generally more favorable to these static compositions. I'm not entirely fan of this Orisa Roadhog combination though. Naked Bananas loves throwing the hogs. You can set up Opland's McCree, but it didn't really work last time. It got shut down by the Pharaoh, which was going to see Ultra bringing out again.
Would you like my analysis? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming. Defend objective A.
Maybe the one respite for Sheridan there is that cap was so fast and so dominant that Desperados haven't actually built up any ult charge. And I dare say it, they did actually win that point off the Hanzo, in my opinion. They sent the Sonic Arrow, saw Volkir was isolated on his own, Ultra went into the rockets, the dive tanks went in, picked off him, and they were able to snowball the fight from there. If you're not running the Hanzo, you don't have that recon ability, so who knows? Good pick from both of them, really.
Power of destruction.
20 minutes into our scrim, Sheridan finally won a fight. Opland's been putting in good work within the degree, and it has finally showed being able to pick off Ultra to start that, and Naked Bananas lands a couple of good hooks, managed to turn the fight around as well. Express has switched again, moving off the Reaper onto the Genji now. Much more long-range ability. Obviously, the short-range fire of Reaper meant he lost the last fight. And it's a nice combo from Naked Bananas and Opland to shut down Garlic Bread there, end this push before it even begins. Wolfer does switch over to the Ultra 76 and immediately makes it worth it with the Helix rocket kill onto Opland. That's really opened up for the offense to come in now. They did have a huge ultimate advantage coming into this fight, and they are making it work, investing 3 of them now. But they've got a first tick on the point, and Sheridan needs to try and get out of spawn.
Complete. Score 0-2. Switching sides.
Yeah, that is a huge downside to the static defense Sheridan was running. Once you lose the point and need to try and get back to recontest, you can't get there in any kind of hurry. Naked Bananas did go into the Diva to try and get there a little bit quicker, but ultimately wasn't worth it. Opland on the fairly slow Cowboy just got battered away by Garlic Bread, and there was no answer. There were flashes of hope for Sheridan. It wasn't quite as bad as the performance they put up on Iconvolt, but Desperados is still definitely the better team here. I'm liking this though. This is development. This is what we need from Sheridan. And I'll tell you what else is a development. Running quad tank on offense. Something new.
Attackers incoming in 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Five, 4, 3, 2.
I believe this is the first time we've seen Ultra play something that isn't a Pharah. He's picking up the Genji here in this dive. He's going to be trying to look onto Synchronize and Vulture, these squishy supports in the backline. Running triple tank though, there isn't so much of the backline to be spoken of. It's very bulked up together, and you've got to get your own tanks in there to break it up and allow your Genji and Tracer to roam.
Time to raise my APM. No.
Oh dear.
Team kill.
Yeah. It was a nice, fancy little flank, but walking a narrow path like that above the icy waters, the last thing you want to do. It's the last thing you want to do when you've got an environmental ability coming up from the other side. Pills shuts it down with a simple boop, and it's back to square one. Again, though, Sheridan seemed to be going for the same plan, rotating around this right side. They go for the low ground though and move straight onto point.
G'day, Cobber. G'day, mate.
I am capturing the objective. Try and stop.
Objective A
Ultimate is
captured.
charging.
Yeah.
New defense point. Objective B.
It was good work from the tank line actually on that defense to isolate the Lucio and deny healing to the offense, but they couldn't quite get it done quickly enough, and Express was able to get free roam, and he does it again with a double whip tire.
Into the iris.
Routing power forward shield.
Yeah, it was good work by Sheridan. They do ultimately get a tick, and I believe they're now going to switch off this composition. It was unfortunate, however, Naked Bananas got taken down mid-fight, and not having your main tank there, it kind of let the defense fall apart. So the offense fall apart, sorry. There was a huge ultimate investment from both sides there, so the fact that the offense is switching things up a bit isn't going to matter so much. They are still running this triple tank, just swapping around the roles a little bit, with Naked Bananas falling back on a trusty Roadhog. Yeah, Yesh saw an opening, tried to go in for a charge to take out Pills, and while he did get him low, he charged Pills into the wall right next to a Reaper, and that's the last one place you want to be a Reinhardt. Quite unfortunate stagger onto our plan is going to delay Sheridan even longer. They've got about 3.5 minutes, which is still a very respectable time bank, but they need to try and make something work with this Riptire and self-destruct they've got coming up. Express has been able to get good value to his Riptire, so look for that again going into this fight.
Round 2 complete. Score 2-2.
Yeah. It was actually looking a little bit rocky on that final offense, I thought, from Sheridan. They were taking maybe a little bit too long to take out the Reaper and Mercy, and I was worried that was going to allow the stall to come back in, but they do manage to shut down any stalls before they come in, and do finish the map with 2 minutes 29. That's still respectable. Finishing a 2C map, especially with the stall that can come out, is good, and 2 minutes 29 isn't anything to be scoffed at, but it's half of what Desperados managed to post up. Sheridan are going to be on offense again, and once again are pulling out the same triple tank. We'll have to see how much Desperados is able to anticipate this, and it appears they are actually going to. Ultra, previously running the Genji, is now going to be taking up the Junkrat, with usually more tank bursting capability. It will be interesting to see how well he can synchronize with Pray4GG's Discord orbs to shred through these tanks as they push through.
You'll love this one.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming. Defend objective A.
Gotcha. Well, that's a good spot.
Yeah, early trade comes out, both Divas finding a support, but Wolfer manages to follow up with a pick onto Express, so early advantage for Desperados on the defense, and that's going to be it. Finding Yesh, maybe a couple more picks come out with Wolfer being taken out too, but that's going to be a good hold from the defense. Already building up a Pulse Bomb and a Riptire for the next fight.
Hi.
Yeah. The other thing to highlight is that not only has Ultra been finding good value in these Riptires, just like his counterpart Express, but the fact that Sheridan are running this triple tank and are so bunched up half the time means it's even easier for Riptire to find value. They do spread out and Riptire can only pick up the Ash, but it's still an advantage going over to this offense.
I'll show them. Game on.
Yeah. Yeah. It's desperation time now for Sheridan. They need to find something, and Express is going to hope the answer is this tower pick, with Synchronized also moving over to the Mercy. There is, however, still an ultimate advantage for defense to have both support ultimates and a Primal Rage, so Sheridan needs to get something big here from the Self-Destruct and Whole Hog.
10 seconds remaining.
Let's drop the beat.
Nerf this.
They
30 seconds remaining.
Yeah. They needed to make something work, and he did. They're going to have the Earth Shadow moving into this final offense. However, we're going to see the Riptire and still the Transcendence for Desperados on the defense. So there is still an ultimate advantage for the defense, but Express has been putting a good work to this Pharah so far, and is nearly at a barrage. Walther has switched over to Soldier to try and put a lot more pressure on him. We'll have to see how well that works out.
Round 3 complete. Score 3-2. Switching sides.
There were a couple of shots there from Express on the Pharah at the start of that second point attack. He's really going to wish he got back. He missed 2 or 3, I think it might have been, point-blank shots on Pray for Juju Zenyatta. If he lands them, he's picked off a support, shut down the Transcendence before it can even come out, and maybe Sheridan can find something off that. However, missing those point-blank shots you really need to be landing, allowed Pray for GGs to come in with the Transcendence and shut down any hope for Sheridan. It's not... I don't want to rain on this parade. Express has been good on this Pharah so far on the first point, and I'm hoping to see more of it later on. But you can't afford to give up stuff like that, especially when the fight's already in overtime. When your back's against the wall, you need to make every shot count. We are going to see another swap up. Allplan falling back on his trusty McCree, but Express pulling out something different. He's Sombra. Voskai is a very Sombra-friendly map, so I'm maybe a little surprised they've waited till now to pull it out, but with this 5-minute time bank and only a tick on second point needed, you do need something big, so maybe this is the moment for Sombra.
Defend objective A.
Beacon in place.
Bad guys. Heads up.
Routing out forward barrier. Time to reload. Yeah.
Put it out.
I'm gonna shoot you down. Who's got one?
Yeah.
Objective
Ma-
lost.
Mechanically, Express's Sombra seem pretty good. But when you've got 6 of you in that room relying on just that mega health pack for healing, you're not going to have the brightest of futures. Ultra already has a barrage, and we know how steadily it's been with you, so Express needs to find something. Comes over the EMP, finds quite a few.
I'm out of here.
Yeah. Yeah. Just about the only ultimate Desperados won't have going into this fight is the Tactical Visor. You do have to Coalescence and Self-Destruct for a little bit of zoning ability on the defense, but it's not quite at the same level. The Valkyrie and Primal Rage get invested early and the Coalescence comes out to answer it. But here comes the Barrage, takes out 2!
Suiting up.
Get into position.
Cease your resistance.
Survival of the fittest. I've got you in. Pass into the iris.
Valkyrie. It was an admirable stall, but when you've got 4.5 minutes to defend a tick, you need to play perfectly. Unfortunately, it wasn't quite there for Sheridan. However, it was a much better performance than we saw on Eichenwald. So there are improvements there. They are making these little adjustments that they need to, and I'd like to see more of these kind of niche picks from Express. If we can find another Sombra-friendly map, I was quite impressed with the little work he's able to put in there. I would like to see maybe a bit more dive from Sheridan, even though their triple tank was working well. I feel like if they can nail the dive cohesion, they could be quite a formidable team. Desperados, that's what is there to say. They've looked pretty clean so far. The strategy seems to be constantly building up these huge ultimate banks and then dumping the whole kitchen sink at once to win a fight, rather than investing 1 or 2 every fight. And while that does lead to a couple fights going in the favor of Sheridan, Desperados are constantly in control.
Now arriving at Ilios.
I mean, yeah. Just look over at Sheridan. We've got the Fowler. You've got your concussive blast. Boop. You've got Yesh with the halt on Orisa. Boop. You've got Lucio. Boop. And Naked Bananas once again pulling out the Roadhog. Hook. A lot of environmental threats coming up from both sides, actually. So, yeah, it's pretty interesting. It is quite a nice difference in philosophy. Desperados once again committing to this heavy pharmacy dive, which has worked out really effectively so far. Yeah, Sheridan once again sticking to what they've shown, running the Orisa Roadhog combination. It's really effective here on Well, but even if they can win on Well, it's not as good on Lighthouse and Ruins, the other earliest maps. We'll have to see if they do still try and commit to it there.
Healing stream engaged. I will not waste this opportunity.
The objective is now
Ooh! Yeah. Yeah. It was actually really smart work from Garlic Bread right at the start of that fight. Desperados have identified just how accurate our plan is with these Peacekeeper shots from McCree. So early on in the fight, that's who they focus. Garlic Bread lands right on the Cowboy, and he's not able to put any pressure onto Express. A couple early picks do come out. Yesh falls, but Pills gets taken out too. So teams trading back and forth. Ooh! Yeah. We are seeing a little bit of a difference in philosophy from these towers. Express seems very concerned with the dogfight, take Ultra out of the sky, whereas Ultra occasionally just looks up, fires a rocket his way, but it's much more focused on raining down hell on the ground support, and that's what's winning these fights for Desperados. Now Sheridan moved back, Ultra is firing a couple shots Express's way, but the fact that Express is so engrossed with trying to win the air fight, and Ultra's putting in the work on the ground as well, is really playing into Desperados' favor.
You're not going anywhere. Enemies re-engaging. I'm on a roll.
Yeah.
Justice reigns from above.
First round lost.
Yeah, pretty decisive showing from Desperados, and if that is anything to go by, I don't suspect this next stage will be very long either. It'll be interesting to see. We are going to Ruins here. Widow is very prevalent on this map. Neither team has shown us a Widow so far, or mentioned to us before the scrim that they like to run a Widow. So if one team pulls it out, it would be interesting to see. Wolfer is actually hinting at that. We saw him on snipers earlier taking Hanzo on Volskaya attack, so maybe he's a dedicated sniper. Widowmaker obviously a hit scan instead of projectile, that's something different. Express is pulling out the counter. Express is going to be running Widowmaker as well, so this is going to determine this stage. Who can get the better value out of the French sniper?
Der Kampf ist noch nicht vorbei.
The objective is now active.
Taking off. Lens matrix activated.
Just pray for GG's. He's alone. Everyone else dying around him, and he's just going to cap the point by himself.
Personne n'échappe à mon regard.
I actually really like Galaxy on the Mercy here from Desperados. It gives you the second chance when Express manages to dome a teammate that Sheridan themselves really don't have. Once again, it's a pretty decisive fight, and Wolfer goes for a really aggressive positioning and gets told, no, not allowed. Express does have to peel back though. Garlic Bread dives in to shut him down. Yeah. Poor Upland. The cowboy was out in no man's land, gets picked, and the fight's over before it's begun. Sheridan need to have a lot more cohesiveness. If they're committed to running this McCree, they need to be tight-knit. He doesn't have the mobility to escape if he gets caught out. Garlic Bread managed to get in the back and shut down Express. Yes, does trade onto Ultra, but it's not looking good. Yeah.
Personne n'échappe à mon regard.
Sometimes your diva just decides,
Forward shield.
screw it, I'm tired of losing. I'm gonna find free picks to start the fight. And as bad as Sheridan have maybe been with cohesiveness, it's very hard to lose a 6v3 like that when your diva decides they've had enough. They're building up a little bit of point charge, already got 20%, but a slight ultimate advantage on the side of Desperados, sorry, and the blade comes out.
Pass into the eye.
Yeah, and just as Yesh said, I'm tired of losing. Wolfer says,
Play
I'm tired of not landing shots. Managed to find, what, 4 picks in that final fight? Completely destroys Sheridan, and that's going to be the 3rd map and the series going over to Desperados. We will be heading over to a 4th map, I believe will be Junkertown, but we will not be seeing the 5th map tiebreaker. Desperados have won this series. Wasting no time heading into this final map. Junkertown, it's not particularly a fan favorite to play or spectate, but we'll try and make the best of it. It'll be interesting to see if either team decides to go with the pirate ship. We haven't seen any Bastion come up so far, which isn't really surprising. He's not the most meta hero in the world, but he can be run on Junkertown. You throw him on the payload, stick in the wrist in the front, pocket him with a mercy, and Bob's your uncle. You've got a pirate ship. Let's get going. Both teams are hinting at dive, at least for this round, though, so no Omnics yet. I mean, in my heart, it's still Protect the President, but pirate ship is the common name, so that's why I've unfortunately got to go by on cast.
Attackers incoming in 30 seconds.
Okay. I doubt we're going to see Faithful GG's picking up the Bastion himself, but Desperados are running another kind of meta we occasionally see on this point. We have had a disconnect, so there is going to be a pause. Faithful GG's has left the game. So, yeah, we're going to have a slight pause. But yeah, as I was saying, while there's not going to be a Bastion, we are seeing a double sniper offense coming out with the Waymaker and... Okay, so Pray for GG's has joined the game, but the rest of Desperados has disconnected. So, slight technical difficulties, apparently. We'll try to figure out what's going here. I'm not sure Pray for GG's could take the 1v6. Yeah, so trying to continue on my point for the 3rd time. We have seen double sniper, while it's not entirely the first thing you suspect. A lot of teams have run it on Junkertown just to abuse the wide open spaces. You can find a lot of nice sightlines here. And there are actually, with the John Witcher map, a few nice little sniper nests along the flanks as well, which gives you even more of a vantage point. When Desperados finally rejoin the game, we'll have to see if they do decide to go to double sniper. Yeah. Okay, we're getting rejoined. Garlic Bread, Wolfer, Ultra, Pills, Galaxy. They're back. We're good to go. Maybe. There is 6 minutes left before doors open, so they really need to get a move on getting these hero picks in, but it looks like we are going to get the pause finished now. We're going to get going.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I lost my train again. Man, this is, I don't know. I guess I didn't get enough sleep, and you're, like I said, you're going hard at 3 a.m. over there, and I'm not even at 10. But we're going to power through this one as Desperados looking to power through the defense here from Sheridan, and it is looking good for them so far. We have Ultra coming out on that on the Widowmaker and Wolfer, so double sniper comp for Desperados, and I don't even know what to think about that. So far, it's working though. Garlic Bread finding the kill in the back here onto Synchronize. The tanks are just so strong; they can hold that payload on their own, and Wolfer and Ultra can do their work from the back line.
Express apparently heard us talking about Pray for GG's going for a 1v6 and decided it was a brilliant idea. Put the other way around. Dives in on the backline on his own with Yesh sat in the backline. And obviously doesn't end well. The Sonic Arrow has given up. The Ghost Sheridan wall hiding in that room for Express to come back, and they dive in. They do manage to get a pick onto Faithful GG, so there might be something here.
Yeah, this payload is dangerously close. Now that self-destruct may be what they are looking for. It is they're actually going to find Synchronized. Baby Diva finds Synchronized for Pills, and he is desperately fighting on this point. He's not going to last very long, but a valiant fight from him. He actually kind of had a chance there to push that in all the way if Sheridan had forgotten about him too much. But look at this. He puts Sheridan on the back line long enough for the other team, the rest of his team, to regroup. That Dragon Strike comes out, and Garlic Bread has the dive. The Sound Barrier comes out, but it's a little bit late. It's already found kills onto Naked Bananas and Yesh, so this is not going to be what Sheridan is looking for to keep defending this. Primal Rage out from both monkeys, and that is only going to serve to stall this one out. Pills is now back with the Diva Mech. Oplan is looking for a kill here. He is going to be what they need to stabilize. He needs to find someone with that Pulse Bomb, and so far he hasn't. Self-destruct. Oh, Yesh finds 3 with the self-destruct. Naked Bananas cleans up with a Dragon Blade. That is exactly what they needed. Desperados is going to overextend themselves, have nothing to do when that self-destruct comes out, and Yesh cleans them up, makes them pay dearly, and finally some momentum being shown here for Sheridan, showing that they can hold this push off. They now know the secret strats from Desperados, and they are going to hold this one strong, at least so far.
We sometimes talk about Clutch DPS performances. We're seeing Clutch off-tank performances from Yesh. That's not the first time he's turned up huge for his team when they need it. However, a couple early picks coming out from Desperados, and that's going to be it. Sheridan fall apart once again. It was a great hold. There's only a minute 10 left on the time bank, with Oplan coming out to stall again to try and slow it down a bit. But Sheridan looking good, managed to put up a good hold, but it is Desperados going to be ultimately taking this first point.
Yes, indeed, and apologies to those watching. I had the scoreboard a little bit mixed up. I'm, like I said, wearing too many hats tonight, it would appear. Normally, I'm either casting or producing, and not both, but this is what we got for the moment, and we got a Streets phase coming out strong here for Desperados. They're finding a couple picks right off the bat, and Wolfer is finding those kills here. Ultra cleaning up here as well on that Genji, and he still has the Dragon Blade available. That is so scary for Sheridan. You know, we've seen what Ultra can do when he has those clutch DPS ults, and he is going to have another one here to finalize this push.
Yeah, there is going to be a little bit of an ult advantage, maybe on the side of the offense, but nah, looking at it, it is pretty even. Sheridan need to try and get on though. Oplan is hiding in the back of this tracer and manages to come into stall. Sound Barrier comes out too. And Naked Bananas sends in the dash onto Wolfer and is now bringing out the Dragon Blade.
And the Dragon Blade comes out here from Ultra. There it is. He's looking for more blood. He does find Naked Bananas off the bat there, and this is still, you know, it's not like Sheridan is not there, but they're just not together. They're not as cohesive. They're kind of getting picked off almost one by one, and that's going to be another solid push here for Desperados.
It was a good setup from Desperados. They know the win condition there is to wipe the fight with the Dragon Blade. Garlic Bread get on to Synchronize, make sure he's either bait out the Transcendence or kill him outright. In this case, he does the latter, and Synchronize isn't there to pull out the support ultimate, shut down the Dragon Blade, and Notch finds so much value. Oplan does get an early pick though, finds play for GG's, but it doesn't really matter. 2 more coming back.
Yes, this fight well underway here, and that Transcendence from Synchronize is going to help them stall us out. They have a self-destruct to contend with, though. That's going to fall in, not going to find anyone, but that's because the members of Sheridan are already routed off this point. Ultra cleaning up. Look at this dive. It is unstoppable from Desperados. They're going to be moving this forward here, and this is looking very, very not good. I know it sounds like a broken record, but Sheridan has to figure out, find what they had on that first defense and bring it in and bring it hard, as their opportunity to do so is dwindling quickly.
Synchronize has moved on to the Moira, maybe abusing the geometry at this third point with your orbs, and does get the pick onto Ultra, shuts down touchdown Genji too.
Yeah, Ultra going down there.
Taken down too, so Shimada Brothers falling everywhere. Oplan falls as well.
Yeah, that's such an important pick for them. I mean, you know, it's not going to end up working out in their favor anyway, as Wolfer is going to pick up the slack, but, you know, finding Ultra at the beginning of that fight is the right idea, the right strategy. Yeah. It's just not going to pay off for them yet. This is going to be the last hold, the last bastion of defense as the Transcendence comes out, as well as the Dragon Blade. Self-destruct is there as well. I wasn't wrong. The counter blade here from Naked Bananas and the counter self-destruct may be what they need to keep this going. But look at Wolfer. He has that tac visor. He's putting out the damage. He's contending with the Coalescence though. That synchronizes there, and that's going to keep his team healthy on this point. It's going to stall out at the very last second here. Just a few meters left for Desperados to push this. They've got 1:10 to do it.
Hey, Ark, you know what's even more hectic than one team dropping a kitchen sink worth of ultimates? Both teams doing it.
Yeah.
Both teams, yeah. There's maybe going to be something here. Galaxy's going to have the sound barrier going to this fight, but with just a minute left on time back, Sheridan might actually get a hold in here. This is huge.
Yeah, Sheridan is, you know, they haven't won all their fights, but they've won enough to have a real fighting chance here to be able to hold this point, and that's going to be huge for them to show that they are here and that they, you know, they're not total pushovers. And so far they've shown that on this map. That self-destruct coming out again already for Yesh. He's not going to find anyone with that, but it's going to at least kind of spread out, stall out the push so far. Naked Bananas is going to be doing some work here though, and that's going to be, I think that was a pulse bomb. I didn't see where it landed, but it didn't find any kills. Naked Banana is finding very close here to his Dragon Blade, but he's not going to get it. Ultra takes him out with that Dragon Blade of his own, and this is going to be 3 kills for Ultra. He's finding every last member of that defense that is hiding. He almost finds Synchronized as well. The stall is desperate here for Sheridan. They're going to get that Dragon Blade, and this is going to be their last chance. He has to fight through the self-destruct. He's not going to find anybody yet. The Transcendence is going to keep all of Desperados healthy, and that is going to be big spawn advantage for Sheridan, but it may not be enough. They are dropping one by one. Opla and Naked Bananas are down. They have no damage on this point. This is going to be very close. The final Coalescence from Synchronize. He gets that up again. He is looking for someone, anyone. His team, other team, doesn't matter. We got to keep someone alive or keep somebody dead. And so far, maybe not going to be able to do either. Yesh is demeched. The overtime is now full in effect here, and this is it. Sound barrier is out for Sheridan. They're going to have a little edge here. They whiffed the pulse bomb, but now they have to fight through the tac visor from Wolfer. Ultra's still there. The damage is still there. Self-destruct still there. The kill feed glowing red. Final stall here from Express. He's trying so hard, but it's not going to be enough. Synchronize now, the last one on the point, and oh my goodness, what a stall. Valiant effort from Sheridan, but Desperado's gonna find that one.
See, the downside to stalling like that on defense is that you're constantly dying. You're not building up ult charge, you're feeding it to the offense. Ultra and Wolfer, using their ultimates at the start of that fight, were able to build them up again and finally use that. It was good work from Sheridan. Much better showing than we've seen so far, and it's nice to see them slowly improving as a team. Good work to push that into overtime, but yeah, it was still a capture.
And we
have had connection issues, so there is going to be a pause while Desperados maybe sorts a few things out.
Yeah, I'm going to throw it back to the scoreboard because nobody likes to look at a pause screen. We'll make sure to throw it back from the scoreboard this time for all the folks watching. I apologize for that one. Thanks for calling it out. The chat's always super helpful. You know, this is Broadcast GG. We are here to learn and get better and all that. So do appreciate the help from you guys. Let's see if we can get some info here on the connection. It looks like teams are going to be ready for us to throw it right back in. It looks like. Just wait for that pause to come off.
Okay. Just making sure we are ready to switch back to game feed. But yeah, Pills is apparently ready, so we're just waiting for the unpause to come back through. Maybe some issues with... Nope, okay. Sheridan have Express as lobby leaders. We're waiting on for them. We are going to be moving on to this off offense for Sheridan now. And still early days, still a minute and a half before they actually walk out the doors. But Oplan and Express on the Orisa and Bastion, is it happening?
Is it happening? I'm so hyped for this. I want this to happen right now.
Are Sheridan on the quest for some booty? Are they the scourge of the Junkerton Seas? I'm all for it. Let's go.
You know, at the end of this, are we going to be able to say, Sheridan, you're the worst pirates we've ever heard of? And they'll say, ah, yes, but you have heard of us.
Who knows? Wolfer, once again on the defense, is going to be picking up these Widowmaker. Well, maybe not. No Lynx and no Carthy. Definitely hasn't been a bad Widowmaker so far, and has been able to put some good shift in. Here he'll be looking to maybe take out the squishier targets, Volker, and synchronize on the support roles. He's not going to find as much luck, I don't think, against the heavy tank targets or the Bastion sat behind the shields. You know, very interesting defense, though. They're being very aggressive here. A little bit sneaky, too. Kind of hiding around the side. Maybe anticipating that the pirate ship is going to be coming out and knowing that their best bet is to shut it down right as it comes out to spawn, not let them get on point.
Before this comes out real quick here, question for you. Do you have Pirates of the Caribbean in Europe? Do you guys just think it's a bad American movie or what?
No, it's pretty popular over here, don't worry.
Okay, good. Makes me satisfied. I'm glad to hear that. Oh my god, look at that. The halt from Garlic Bread is going to pull them right into that Ultra Mine. He's going to shut down the pirate ship right off the bat. Look at that. That's so well practiced, so well timed and rehearsed. Wow, Desperados, man. I don't even know.
Sometimes your ship doesn't even make it out of harbor. They're still committing to this pirate ship on Sheridan, but they're taking the long way out the top just to make sure there's no more funny business. It is going to enable Wolfer to find some sightlines though. Gets naked bananas boat low, but can't quite finish the pick. And Opland's ready. They're good to go. Raining downhill doesn't find any picks, but force Desperados right back.
Yeah, despite the rocky start, the pirate ship is now in full effect. They do have a Riptire coming out. Ultra trying to find someone with that, but the damage coming out of Opland is going to find that. Pray for GG's finds the Bastion. Is the ship going to sink without it?
A little bit of a positional reversal. Desperados were hanging back, waiting to get value to the Riptire, but it meant the pirate ship just passed them by and they had to come from the attacker's position actually to pull off the defense here. It's going to be a 5v6 round point now. The Transcendent comes out to stall things out, and now the Coalescence. But the spawn advantage for Sheridan here means Opland is going to get set up back on guard. The cannons are out. Watch out, Desperados.
Yeah, Desperados are a little bit desperate here on defense, trying to stabilize. Oh my gosh, that self-destruct comes out. It's going to find Ultra. Naked Bananas finding some picks here as well. Wolfer has switched to that Widowmaker, and he's finding some picks, but it's not going to be very good to actually stand on this point and stall it out. Garlic Bread is now the one that has to do that. They have to find that Valkyrie, though. Galaxy able to stay up, stay alive, and stay on the point. Get the res on the Garlic Bread. That's going to stabilize the defense. And the Riptire is icing on the cake. Going to find Naked Bananas, and that's going to be a regroup for the side of Sheridan. They're looking to come back with a vengeance here, but for the time being, Desperados holding strong.
Sad days if you're Sheridan. See, poor Yesh. So sorry. And get struck down right as they can demech. Say goodbye with a nice little happy Halloween. So brutal stagger is going to cost a lot of time for Sheridan, but they've got a huge ultimate advantage here. You get maybe a little slow on the self-destruct, but yes, you've been able to find good values for those when they come out anyway. But you've got everything else. The defense, you've got your Transcendence. Pray for GG's is going to be able to stall out a bit. You've got your Supercharger. Maybe not much. Some barriers invested early, and a huge slam comes down.
Yeah, sometimes that stagger is all you can hope for here when you're fighting the ult advantage, and that's exactly the case as we see Sheridan coming out strong. They burn a lot of those ultimates, but it is going to get them this point. Finally, they wipe the rest of Desperados off the map, moving on to the streets phase. Definitely a little bit rockier start for them, but they have a chance to pull this one out. Ultra and Pills trying to find this high ground, reestablishing the defense for Desperados, but this is going to be a little bit weird spot for them to do so.
Little known fact, pirate ships back in the day were installed with modern state-of-the-art Kinshin sinks. And Sheridan did put it to good use, only saving the configuration tank on the Bastion, which is going to come out now.
And here it comes, accompanied by that self-destruct. That's going to split up the likes
Again!
of Desperados. It's going to find Galaxy too. What a big pick for them. That's going to mean the rest of Desperados is nowhere to be found. They're trying to lay some Junkrat damage on that point, but it is going to be not nearly enough to make this happen. The rest of them kind of cowering off to the sides as they don't have any sort of way to regroup here, just based on their positioning. They're going to basically suicide onto that point almost, and that's going to be Streets phase done real quick for the Sheridan. Moving on to point 3 here, and they look very good.
Pretty good, yeah. I do like this pirate ship. There hasn't really been the answer needed from Desperados so far. And what I would like to highlight, yes, I've talked about it a fair bit. I'm a D.Va main. Can you blame me? I've noticed in my ranked games, I'm always lacking in D.Va bombs. I can never find any value of them. Yesh, on the other hand, has seemingly been able to find at least 1 kill with every single bomb he's thrown in so far. It's been good to watch.
And it's been good to play as well for them, I think. Oplan still doing that work there on the Bastion, and the Ultra's Riptire is not going to find the Bastion, and that's going to really be not the pick they wanted. Yesh and Oplan continuing to do damage. This is going to completely rout that defense. I wasn't sure what Desperados was going for there. Maybe they weren't either, but obviously that didn't work out for them. They're trying to reset, regroup on this last little point. Another very desperate defense. They're going to have that spawn advantage, though, and they're going to start off with the pick onto the king of the pirate ship. The pirate captain is down. Oplan is going to be respawning here. The rest of the team is there with picking up the slack a little bit. That sound barrier is going to keep them alive. Naked Bananas finding a pick. They have to fight this self-destruct here from Pills. Not going to find anybody. Ultra, though, has that Riptire. This is maybe not going to be what Sheridan needs to push this in. They do have the Bastion coming back, but they don't have the numbers to make it work. They're fighting through a Transcendence as well. Still going to work well enough to find Galaxy, but this still could go either way. The problem is the spawn advantage for Desperados is just going to be too strong here. Yeah. Sheridan kind of trickling onto this point now, and it's not going to work out well for them.
Sheridan should have backed out 20, 13 seconds ago. You don't need to invest some of those ultimates. You save them for the next fight. Oplan is actually going to switch off though, pulling out the Soldier 76 now, and Express is going to be moving on to the Widowmaker. So a little bit of a change up. You've got 2 minutes to go, what, 20 meters. You can afford to do this now, but it is going to put the ultimate advantage on the side of the defense. So maybe a dry push or 2 to take some of those out before you go for the final attack. Express not actually going to stick with the Widowmaker, actually. Go once again falling back on this triple tank. Express pulling out the Zarya, which I don't really think we've seen much of so far. Should be interesting to see what value they can find.
If they can get that Zarya ultimate charged up before the end of the game, that's going to give them a really solid ability to pull off a team wipe. It's just a question of whether they can get that charge with a minute 15 left on this clock right now. It may not work out well for them. And the Riptire is going to find 2. That's a couple of big picks for Ultra. Going to stall this pretty well. Yesh is there. He's kind of trying to fight this out. I don't know if he's actually stuck on a Junkrat trap for a second there. Gets demech'd. That is not good. He does not want to get staggered here. He's trying to get his mech back pretty desperately. His team is there to support him. But, you know, that's not what you want from your D.Va going into the final seconds. It's no mech. And going to finally die to Pills, actually. A couple big picks for Pills.
Sheridan needs to back out now. Don't commit to this with the Earth Shadow. You've lost 2.
Yeah, Sheridan committing to this. They dropped that sound barrier. They're going all or nothing on this. I'm not sure if I agree with that, but they certainly do. They don't have the Graviton quite available yet. Naked Bananas is still there, but they lost Synchronize. They lost Naked Bananas. They are going to have to figure something out here. They're going to have to regroup. 20 seconds, they may be able to stall it.
Sheridan decided with 30 seconds to go it was do or die time, and unfortunately all they did was die. Express has only just respawned with 10 seconds left, so they aren't going to be able to commit with a full team fight to this. They need to try and get on the point now. Vulture might be the best bet. Speed boost in. Oplan gets shut down though. Can Vulture? It does, but Synchronize gets taken down in the back. It's not looking good for Sheridan.
Yeah, I think they got very desperate there. I want to say they would have had a chance if they had let Yesh go in on that, but they're just going to get wiped. You know, Yesh having that D.Va, having the self-destruct, and being able to kind of get the free remech with that I think that's how I would have let in. I don't think I would have let in with Oplan, and that push just fell apart immediately because of that. So, you know, very valiant effort here from Sheridan. We saw even after 3 maps going in favor of Desperados, they were not ready to give up. And, you know, fighting till the end, that's a sign of a strong team. That's a sign of good teamwork. So they have, I think, the good fundamentals. Didn't have what it took to beat out Desperados, though.
It definitely got closer over the course of that, but it was a story of cohesion and discipline. There wasn't the synergy between the tanks in the dives from Sheridan, and especially highlighted in that final couple of fights on Junkertown, there wasn't the discipline to know when to retreat and regroup for the next fight. They just kept throwing everything they could in when they were already a couple of picks down, and it cost what was a really promising offense on Junkertown. It's kind of disappointing. Desperados, though, maybe not entirely perfect, but have definitely been the better team here. Just the higher level of teamwork. The core of this team has been together nearly a year and a half, and it shows. They're just on another level that Sheridan couldn't match.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Desperados, they're very well put together. Exactly as you were saying, it shows, you know, a team with a website. You know that they're pretty serious about it. And you know, Sheridan, I would assume if they're a college, they maybe have a website, but maybe they want to get the college to put up a website about their Overwatch team so they can be as well established as Desperados. We'll give them some time for that, though. Great credit for them being able to put on quite a fight, quite a show here. It's been a great show for them. What do you think, Vowels?
I'm trying to think where to go from here. For Sheridan in particular, their raw fundamentals seem pretty good. If given time, this roster could be pretty exciting. They just need to learn. They need to bond and get used to playing with each other. Desperados, as I was saying, weren't perfect. Ultra in particular seems to be called out by a lot of Yesh's Diva Bomb, so maybe needs to reconsider some of his positioning. But yeah, what I did like in particular was Express on the side of Sheridan showed an uncanny, what's the word? I'm going blank. He was very willing to flex, is what I was trying to say. He was picking up just about everything Sheridan needed. Okay, maybe not the hit scan on your first Eichenwald defense, but after that, I think they learned a lesson. But there are good sides for Sheridan. Oplan, deadly accuracy, but needs to work on positioning and team playing around him. And finally, the tank line I'd pointed out a few times, it's just completely disjointed. Sheridan do have potential, but there's not a lot they need to work on. So maybe look over some of the VODs, see where they were going wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one thing I would suggest for Sheridan is, you know, it's possible that they are well practiced when it comes to basically kind of rank queuing, solo queuing. You have your 6, you jump into competitive and see where you go. I'm sure they do very well in that type of environment, but when you're really going for an organized, serious high-level 6v6, it's almost an entirely different beast. So I think that, you know, practicing in that type of environment is definitely going to benefit them, as they obviously were doing here today. So I think the Desperados was a really good opponent for them to kind of gain that level of experience and practice, even if it did mean that they were not able to win a map. That just kind of goes to show you really exactly where you need to be practicing. So in a way, it's almost going to be better for them in the long run to kind of take this loss, learn from it, and come back strong. So I'm hoping we get to see them again in the near future. Val, do you have anything else you want to add on to this one?
Not off the top of my head. I had a couple of talking points, but I feel like between us, we've gone over just about everything I wanted to say. I do see a lot of potential in both of these sides, and it'll be interesting to see if they come up again on my radar. I've really enjoyed this cast, and if they want me back, maybe slightly earlier in the day, it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, probably pretty late for you over there in what country are you in?
I'm from Manchester in the UK. So we're looking at a solid 4:30 in the morning right now, but it's worth it. I've had a blast.
All right, so final question of the night here from some rando here in the chat. Wants to know who is the player of the game in that one?
Ultra,
really?
on the side of Desperados. absolutely dominant projectile play on both the Junkrat and the Pharah. Not too shabby a Genji as well. There were stars all over the board on both teams, but Ultra is the one that really stuck out to me.
Yeah, I do have to say I agree with you there.
And
Ultra.
now I'm looking at Twitch chat myself. It turns out it was Ultra who asked that question. So
I was quite satisfied when you came up with that. I thought that was.
I'm going to
I thought
rescind
that
that
was your
award
joke.
and
Yeah.
give it over to who else? Garlic Bread. Garlic Bread had a really good game on Winston as well, constantly putting pressure on the backline. So there you go. Your player of the game, Garlic Bread. Enjoy it.
Yeah. It's too bad for Ultra, man. I have to agree with you. Garlic bread, 100%. Ultra can't even hold a candle to the garlic bread. But I mean, who doesn't like garlic bread? Really? It's hard to give it to really anybody else in that. So you know.
I feel like Garlic Bread is always MVP, no matter what situation. It's true of this Scrim Night, but almost any situation, I'd say.
All right. Well, that is going to conclude our broadcast for the night, I think. Once again, I have been your host and producer and caster and all that, Ark of Covenant. I was joined here by Vowels GG. Thanks for joining me, Vowels.
It's been a pleasure. Thanks for having me, Ark, and thank you to Desperados and Sheridan College for allowing us to stream their Scrim and provide some of our thoughts. It has been fun, and hopefully they'll have me back next time.
And
Good night, everyone.
Of course, we have to thank our viewers as well. Thank you guys for watching. This has been kind of a part of broadcast.gg. This is not an official Scrim night, but kind of a Scrim organized by our teams reaching out to us and putting something together. And of course, the Twitch channel and the assets and all that are put together by broadcast.gg. So if you are someone who wants to support us, we are a community of amateur broadcasters and producers and organizers and all that. So please, be sure to follow us here on Twitch and on Twitter as well if you would like to support amateur esports. And I'm going to go ahead and throw it out there and say, follow me and Vowels as well. We really appreciate, well, at least I appreciate anybody who's throwing me some love on the Twitter and on the Twitch and all that. I don't get on my own Twitch very often nowadays. But please feel free to follow us on there. And of course, if you are someone who wants to be a kind of part of this community and give it a shot and practice casting, see if you have what it takes to cast or produce or anything like that, please feel free to check out our website and most importantly, the Discord channel as well. That's going to be probably the best place to get in on the action. That's broadcast.gg. So please feel free to come in and check some of that out.
I can definitely personally vouch for how insightful and welcoming the community is. And yeah, if you're interested in casting and producing these scrims like this yourself, feel free to drop in and say hi. It's always, new faces are always welcome. And just as a final plug, if you're interested in not only scrims like this, but also Overwatch League live tweeting for someone who really doesn't know what I'm on about, feel free to hit me up on Twitter at ValsGG.
All right, well, that is going to be it for our broadcast for the night, for real this time. I have been Ark of Covenant, again, signing out for the final time. Thank you guys for watching.
I've been Vals. It's 4:30 in the morning. I'm off to bed. Good night.
Peace. guys.